think in the TTIP at the beginning and at the end, the space for digital practically was no one. I mean, and now the Commission in the proposal for having a new proposal from the Commission for a new transatlantic agenda, it includes this specific space for digital dialogue. And this just is a matter reflecting what had happened in the digital field in the last 4 or 5 years. I mean, it's absolutely different. And together with this, I must say that the COVID-19 experience, the pandemic, has acted as a kind of big lens in which you can see the need for accelerating the digital transformation. And that sensitivity is everywhere. It is here, and it is also in the United States and many other places.
I would flag 2 things. One is to consider, again, the constellation and the level. My hope is that in the new administration, and somebody flagged, what about Kamala Harris? Shouldn't we be doing something? That she might have, given her background, also her background as AG and what she did in the privacy space, for example, also her committee assignments in the past, also her state and her constituency in the past, a particular interest in maybe taking on some of these issues, at least as a titular kind of coordinator across government, so that you can have this kind of conversation. I did a piece with Marietje Schaake, who's obviously a good friend of TPN, a couple of weeks ago in Lawfare, where we talked about her being perhaps the chair of the Trade and Tech Council, because she has that ability to kind of set agendas within a government, or a vice president has that ability, particularly given that the president-elect is not necessarily as interested in these topics, we have to say.
We know that the EU is already moving forward towards implementation of its plan to create a regulatory framework for the digital transformation of its single market, with legislative proposals, many of them already issued. But there is still, I believe, an unprecedented opportunity, and there is still time for the EU and the US to move together forward with a greater appreciation that commonly desired outcomes can be delivered through transatlantic cooperation and regulatory convergence on emerging technologies, which is, I believe, I continue to be obsessed with it, and I believe we should start really taking it seriously.
I think it's important that we don't box the Biden administration in on this issue right away as he's getting his legs under him, so to speak. So I just want to throw that out there as someone that has been involved in that issue too, and the bipartisan pushback that you've been seeing coming from the states on that.
We are talking about responsibility of online platforms and big techs in many different aspects, but also when in tackling harmful market behavior, illegal content, or algorithm-fueled propagation of hate speech and disinformation. Regarding fair taxation is another aspect which is quite critical for the European Union, also for the United States. So I believe that the EU and the US should strongly commit to the timely conclusion and discussions on a global solution within the context of OECD and G20. But having said that, there is also a need to be innovative, to have an innovative approach on this if we want to really succeed.
Have to figure our way forward on technology and on the digital economy. It is a crucial priority for the jobs of the future and the economy of the future. So that it is high on your agenda is fantastic and fundamental to what we will have to do together, what we will have to sort through together, including what we do on 230 and what the regulatory framework for our technology companies is going to be.
Seeping into the pores of the political agenda also in Washington. And I think there's a lot of convergence on 4 issues in particular where they're really high on the list of the US-EU agenda, digital agenda, and they're being pushed very quickly in Brussels right now. But the big question is, will that convergence lead to actual action. And the 4 areas that I would highlight are first, data protection and privacy, particularly in light of the Schrems II decision in the summer.
And see how this can be overcome. Consequently, we must move up a gear and intensify our cooperation, at bilateral, of course, in a multilateral level as well, to promote regulatory convergence and facilitate free data flow, which is essential for an economy of data. And that must be, developed in a context of trust on the basis of high standards and safeguards. The challenge today is not just about restoring the transatlantic relationship, but about transforming it. This is a key piece of our mindset here and there that we have to maintain and to make it visible.